with coverage you can count on.
Coming up on Eyewitness News Live at 5, a Tennessee officer drowns while trying to save a woman who drove her car into a river. A demand for better education programs caused multiple inmates to kill one guard and hold others hostage at a maximum security prison. An increase on gas tax means more money drivers would have to pay. However, some local business owners tell us they're willing to hand over the cash for better Tennessee highways. Live at 5 starts now.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
I'll send it to E. Kulik.
As of 19 zoo, this frontal boundary was straight.
Take mine. Oh, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm Lori Mitchell.
It better not.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News Live at 5.
Coming up on Eyewitness News Live at 5, a Tennessee officer drowns while trying to save a woman who drove her car into a river. A demand for better education programs caused multiple inmates to kill one guard and hold others hostage at a maximum security prison. An increase on gas tax means more money drivers would have to pay. However, some local business owners tell us they're willing to hand over the cash for better Tennessee highways. Live at 5 starts now.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News Live at 5 in HD.
Thank you for watching this afternoon. I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. A Tennessee police officer died this morning trying to save a woman.
Investigators say around 4:20 a.m., Officer Eric Mumaw and another officer went to a Nashville park to help a suicidal woman. Channel 3's Greg Glover is in the studio with more on this story. Greg?
Officers Eric Mumaw and Nick Diamond responded just minutes after they received the call, and they found the car at the edge of the Cumberland River. They talked with the driver, Julie Glisson, for about 10 minutes. They tried to get her out of her vehicle, but then the car suddenly rolled down the ramp and into the water. As the officers tried to rescue her, Officer Mumaw slipped. Police say the woman was able to get out of her car and she swam to the riverbank. Officer Mumaw's body was recovered in the river around 9:30 a.m. Central Time. Search crew members explain what caused that officer to get away from the boat ramp.
The boat ramp ended very abruptly, which they could not see because the end of the ramp is underwater. And both of the officers lost their balance and went in. The motion of the vehicle also going into the water kind of swept them further out. Officer Diamond was able to come back to the bank. Officer Mumaw was not.
2 other officers were injured. One was treated at the scene. Another was taken to Vanderbilt Medical Center to be treated for hypothermia. Officer Eric Mumaw, an 18-year veteran, is now being called a true hero. He leaves behind a fiancée and a daughter. 40-year-old Julie Glisson is being questioned and detained by police. They believe Glisson may have been impaired by some type of substance. They say she's now under investigation and she could face criminal charges. Live in the studio, Greg Glover. David, back to you.
Thank you very much, Greg. Local officers are expressing their condolences to the Metro Nashville Police Department. Chattanooga Police Chief Fred Fletcher posted this statement on Twitter, and I quote, "The Chattanooga PD and I mourn with Nashville over the loss of their hero, our hero. No words suffice."
Officers train year-round for unpredictable situations, and they face many emotional challenges as well.
Channel 3's Tanisha Cordell asked local law enforcement about the training process for helping people with suicidal thoughts.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, we've seen officers throughout the Tennessee Valley share their condolences after hearing about the Nashville officer. I spoke with one Dalton officer who says, unfortunately, these situations are all too common.
We receive numerous suicide attempt calls. Suicide attempts are rising, always have been.
Chris Cook, the commander for Dalton's patrol division, says threats of suicide are almost a daily occurrence. It's an alarming reality. Cook says it's been at least a year since he and his fellow officers have dealt with a deadly situation, but they're trained year-round as a precaution.
And our officers are trained on how to try to talk to those people, how to talk to people in general, and try to identify the people that are in crisis and what they can do about it.
Cook says every situation is different and should be handled as such, but he says officers must keep one thing in mind.
The biggest thing is for our officers to remain calm and try to have some kind of control in the situation, but not be so pushy and so control-oriented that we force the other person to do something.
Cook says their mental well-being is important as well. It's why a chaplain program, peer counselors, and supervisors are in place to provide support before and after an incident.
There's not a lot of emotion, and you basically just know what your job is and to do your job. And then afterwards, we like to reflect through an after-action process. We sit and talk to the officers to make sure, hey, how are you doing, everything like that, to make sure that, everybody is grounded after an incident.
But with all the training and support, Cook says you just never know what could happen.
All you can really do is give them the tools they need, and then for them it's a problem-solving mode, a common sense mode. How can we help the people the quickest, the best way to do it, and they pretty much have to think on their own.
Commander Cook says all of his colleagues are mourning the loss of the Nashville officer, and it makes them all more aware of the dangers they face each day. In the studio, Tanisha Cordell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Tanisha. The prison hostage situation in Delaware erupted overnight. One prison guard is dead and another hospitalized. Around 5 this morning, the inmates demanded the water be turned on. Then they filled their footlockers with water and put them against the wall and the doors. That's when corrections officials went in with a large backhoe. Once they knocked down the door, they were able to get inside very quickly and found Officer Stephen Floyd unresponsive on the floor. He was pronounced dead.
This was a very sad day across the state of Delaware with the loss of one of our brave correctional officers. After a torturous 15-hour ordeal that went through the night.
Officials have not said what prompted the riot overnight, but in phone calls, the hostage takers said they wanted better education, effective rehabilitation, and more transparency on prison funding.
Authorities in Ohio say 6 students were on board a school bus when it rolled over this morning. The bus was en route to a local academy when it collided with an SUV. One of the students was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The SUV involved in the crash also had 2 students inside. They also were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Authorities are investigating the cause of this crash.
Time now to send it over to Paul Barris, live in the Storm Alert Center for the first look at your forecast on Groundhog Day. Paul?
That's right, cloudy skies much of the day, a little peak of sunshine here and there. There are some showers that are racing on by. Let's take a look at them right now. North of the city from Pikeville to Dayton to Athens, Tellico Plains. We put this into motion. You can see these showers moving directly from the west to the east. They're very light. The very most you're going to see maybe 1/10 of an inch of rain out of some of those. We'll pull back a little bit and show you there's more showers to the south of the city and to the west of the city too. Matter of fact, if we travel a little further off to the west, you can see from just south of Columbia and Fayetteville all the way down to Huntsville, Scottsboro, these showers, and they're pushing off toward from the west to the east. So they're going to be moving right across the metro area, probably within a couple hours. So don't be surprised to see a little bit of rain coming up for tonight. So that's what we're thinking right now. Scattered showers for tonight, and I've got the complete 7-day forecast. We'll take a peek into the weekend coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks, Paul. Drivers may have to dig deeper in their pockets to fill up at the pump.
Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam is proposing the state's first gas tax hike in 27 years. Channel 3's Lori Mitchell is live to tell you how much more you would have to pay. Lori?
The governor wants to raise the state's gas tax by 7 cents. Some people support it, some do not. But nearly everyone we talk to agrees on one thing. The money would be used to pay for an important project: fixing Tennessee roads. At the gas pump, people are buzzing about the possibility of having to pay more to fill up.
Yeah, it's expensive enough.
An issue that could impact every single driver in Tennessee, but especially those who do so for a living. Truck driver Robert Nix doesn't think the gas tax is a good idea.
It would decrease our employees there because they got to cut costs here somewhere to save money. Then whatever bonuses that we do get, whatever it takes to save the money, the company the money. So increased fuel taxes, of course, would be a big negative for us.
The increase would add up for delivery businesses too, but we found one that supports the governor's plan.
Well, I think we need to do it. We need to do something about the roads. They're worsening by the minute.
Gil Cartwright says bad roads and potholes are costing his flower shop hefty car repair bills.
Every time you turn around, you've either worn out a set of tires because the whole front end's out of line, or replacing tires.
So here's the breakdown. If the gas tax passes this year, drivers would see a 7-cent jump at the pump beginning July 1st. Truck drivers would pay an extra 12 cents per gallon for diesel. The goal? To generate $11 billion to get road projects rolling.
But if it was going to something that would also benefit drivers, then, I think that would be a worthy price to pay.
Now, as part of the plan, the state would lower taxes in other areas, including on groceries. The last time the gas tax was adjusted was back in 1989. We'll continue to monitor this issue and let you know what happens. I'm Lori Mitchell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Lori. This week, 2 House Republican leaders countered Governor Haslam's proposed gas tax increases. Assistant Majority Leader David Hawk and Majority Leader Glenn Casada unveiled their alternative plan yesterday. They want to use money from the state's existing 7% sales tax base to pay for needed road improvements. We'll keep you posted.
A ferret worth $230 has been found after officers say it was stolen from a local pet store. Dalton police shared these photos.
Investigators say the suspects took the ferret from a Dalton pet store by slipping the furry animal into the sleeve of a jacket. Store surveillance caught the incident at the Petland store in Dalton. Police identified the suspects this afternoon thanks to numerous tips. No one is in custody yet, but the ferret has been returned safely to the store.
It's good to know. Coming up on Live at 5.
The number of Americans living with Alzheimer's disease continues to grow. The local advocates say increasing awareness and raising funds is the key to changing that trend. Coming up in Eye on Health, we'll show you how they're trying to do that.
A few showers north of the city right now and more showers to the west of the city heading our way. We'll tell you what to expect for tonight and right into the weekend on my 7-day forecast.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News traffic sponsored by CHM Memorial. For 40 years, the Chattanooga Heart Institute has been the recognized leader in advanced cardiovascular care. Visit ChattanoogaHeart.com.
Let's look outside at 5:13 p.m. on this Groundhog Day, February 2nd, Thursday. And a slow go on I-24 at the 75 split. Some problems also back a few miles near the Ridge Cut where there was an accident about an hour ago. They're trying to get that cleared up. And that's all we've heard about at this particular time.
It is not raining, just a little overcast. Let's check in with Paul Barris to see what lies ahead. Paul?
Well, we do have a few sprinkles just north of the city, Cindy. There's some light rain showers. I hate to correct you. I know. It's not raining downtown. You're right about that. That's right. There are some very light rain showers moving north of the city, and there's more showers out to the west of the city. They're pushing off from the west to the east. We'll pull back a little bit, and you'll be able to see these showers get a little heavier, a little thicker from Huntsville on westward. So we're going to see a batch of showers tonight move across the area, probably about 90% chance that's going to happen across all of our area for tonight, unless this thing disappears, and I don't think it will. So we got plenty of rain out there. We pull back even further, and again, we got the rain here, not that much off to the north, just a little bit of snow up towards New York State. Winds out of the north at 9 miles per hour. It's 52 in the city, 53 Dalton, 51 in Athens and Cleveland, also in Murphy, 50 in Fort Payne. Temperature is pretty uniform because of all the cloud cover that we've seen for today. 53 and 45, the high and the low. Forecast worked out well. Just a trace of rain so far, but we're going to probably see it maybe up to a quarter of an inch coming up for tonight as that little patch of showers moves by. 59 Lafayette, 55 Dalton, 57 Chatsworth today, 54 in Calhoun, so fairly mild. That's a little above normal, not much, just a couple degrees. 55 Signal Mountain, 51 Soddy Daisy and Ooltewah, 52 in Cleveland and Delano. Now Riceville had about a tenth of an inch of rain. Mowbray Mountain, the afternoon high was only 44 degrees. Actually, depending on when you measure these temperatures, the actual highs were in a lot of places were probably right after midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning or so, and then there was a secondary maximum temperature again. Now north of the city, that's where most of the rain has fallen so far, and that was only about a tenth from Colmont, Cagle Mountain, Pikeville, Dayton, all the way up to Athens, and about 55 out near Murphy, 52 in Jasper. Latest fire forecast again showing these showers out of here by tomorrow. This is 7 o'clock in the morning. Little frontal system drops down to the south. Clearing skies coming up for tomorrow night with a northerly wind, and it's going to get down into the 20s for tomorrow night. Saturday morning, it's going to be clear and pretty cold. Not outrageously cold, but pretty cold. Then up on Saturday afternoon, the wind starts shifting from the southeast to the south, and that pumps up the warm air and brings the clouds back in. May see a brief shower on Sunday, but I have a pretty small chance on that. And then a southwesterly wind coming up into Sunday and also into Monday. This is Monday morning around 7 o'clock, the rain out to the west. It's heading our way by Monday and into Tuesday. Pinpoint forecast for tomorrow, though, we'll call it partly cloudy to mostly cloudy, especially beginning of the day. Lafayette about 50, East Ridge about 51. And then 37 tonight with a chance for a shower or two with northerly winds. For tomorrow, 51 with partly cloudy skies by afternoon, but mostly cloudy. And then for tomorrow night, 27 and clearing skies with a light northerly wind. 7-day forecast Saturday, 54 degrees. Sunday, we're looking at 56, and we're going to see those showers. They're going to be widely separated, though, about 56 for the high. Better chance for some showers on Monday, and even a better chance into Tuesday and Wednesday. And warmer, too. Temperatures are getting back into the 60s, and then cooling down a little bit into next Thursday. So right now, the best chance for any significant rain is tonight, and then coming up into late Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Not a lot of freezing weather there.
No, there's nothing. No, and so far, you know, the groundhog, Chattanooga Chuck said, spring's coming.
Mm-hmm. The plants and the birdies and the bugs think so. That's for sure.
He didn't talk to me about it, though.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he never does.
Hey, Paul.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, still ahead on Live at 5, we've reported on several warnings about the dangers of those liquid laundry detergent packets and the dangers involving kids, but you know they can also harm adults. We'll let you know how next.
And in our Eye on Health, we'll show you how a local group is working to improve the lives of those living with Alzheimer's.
Be sure and start your Friday off with us. Michelle and Tim will have live updates to your headline. Plus, don't forget to go Red for Women.
Absolutely, and we're gearing up for the big game in Houston. Paul Shaheen and Jill Jelenic, they're going to be down there. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about weekend events. We're going to give you some news, some weather, some traffic. Man, it's going to be a full day starting at 4:30 a.m.
More than 5 million Americans are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.
And local advocates are working to raise awareness and improve the lives of those living with it. In her Eye on Health report, Latrice Curry tells us they're preparing to take their message to lawmakers.
Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, something advocates are working to change. They're preparing for Day on the Hill, where they travel to Nashville to take their message straight to lawmakers, sharing stories, the need for support and more funding to fight this disease.
If you look back and you look at AIDS and you look at breast cancer, with the funding that they got to be able to go in and do the research, that's what we want Alzheimer's to be.
Right now, there is no cure, and the CDC estimates that 1 in 3 seniors die with Alzheimer's or another form of dementia.
That's why local advocates say it is so important to have a voice and continue to raise awareness.
Early detection and early diagnosis. Many diseases that are high on the radar now, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, all of those things, you can change the trajectory of the disease with early detection and early diagnosis and early intervention.
Amy says as advocates work to improve the quality of care and life for people with Alzheimer's disease and fight for more funding for research, they're hopeful a cure will be found in the near future.
And I do believe by 2025 that we will have one, and I want to be a part of that.
So whether it's the state capitol or the nation's capital, the journey and the fight continues. Latrice Curry, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
The number of eye injuries linked to single-use liquid laundry packets has skyrocketed in recent years. It's not difficult for an adult to burst one of the laundry packets, but young children have also popped them open, getting the detergent in their eyes, which has led to an increased number of serious chemical burns. The detergent in those packets contains higher concentrations of chemicals and cleaning agents. Researchers looked at reports of eye injuries from 2012 to 2015.
The number of eye injuries among small children aged 3 to 4 due to these laundry detergent pods increased significantly from almost none to almost 500 per year.
After the study, manufacturers adopted voluntary safety standards, which included clear packaging and improved warning labels. If a child's eye is exposed to the packets, doctors say immediately get that eye under cool running water and leave it there for at least 20 minutes or more to prevent vision loss. Experts also recommend storing those packets high up and out of sight. Almost 85% of these injuries happened in the home.
Well, Super Bowl Sunday is a classic day for food like chicken wings, ribs, and tons of heavy dips and chips. And just like you don't want your favorite team to choke, it may not be what you eat, but how you eat it that could land you in the hospital.
The risk is real. Doctors at the University of Florida who found people are up to 10 times more likely to choke on their food during events like the Super Bowl because people tend to consume massive quantities of food mindlessly. Men in the study were more likely to choke, and usually on meats like turkey and chicken. Experts advise slow down, take smaller bites, and enjoy your meal as well as the game. Of course, that might be part of the problem if it's the wrong team.
Could be.
Scoring.
And you folks at home were looking at video. I want you to know that when Cindy was saying people tend to consume massive quantities mindlessly, she looked at me. She did. She looked right at me. Gave me the eye. Well, still ahead on Live at 5. All eyes were on the groundhogs today.
And a National Magazine reports Chattanooga Chuck was one of the top furry forecasters to watch this morning. His prediction is next.
Well, we're just laughing about this. Chattanooga Chuck made his prediction for the rest of 2017, and it looks like we'll have an early spring, maybe the one we're having, since he did not see his shadow.
If you go by the groundhog lore, right? Our hometown groundhog has been named one of the top 5 groundhogs to watch by Parade magazine. Chuck's forecast for an early spring rivals that of Punxsutawney Phil. Phil actually predicted 6 more weeks of winter, but you know, we live really far away from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
Let's find out what's happening on Live at 5:30.
Let's go to Greg Glover.
Ahead on Channel 3, Eyewitness News, live at 5:30.
So I've had a year of building this vision.
In your next half hour, that vision changed when the Bridges wedding venue burned to the ground, leaving the couple to hunt for a new place to say I do. And a help wanted sign at a restaurant in South Carolina is causing a lot of controversy. We'll tell you why. Those stories and more in just a few minutes on Live at 5:30. Stay with us.